So we have a bizarre update, a bizarre connection to the tunnels found under New York City that I didn't see coming. I had a subscriber of mine in the comment section of my videos keep telling me, where's the update to the New York City tunnels? Where's the update to the tunnels? And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is he talking about? There is no update. I can't find an update to the story. But come to find out, there actually is a bizarre update. In Brooklyn on Friday, February 2nd, a construction worker, his life was ended when a two-story home that was being built illegally collapsed. Which is kind of funny because previously in Brooklyn, we had tunnels that were also being dug illegally as well. Now, some people would say that how can these be dug illegally when the owners of the synagogue, these tunnels belong to them. These tunnels were under the synagogue. They connected to the synagogue. But you still need a permit to dig tunnels because something like this could happen. We could have homes that collapse. We could have foundations that are already weak give way due to tunnels being dug incorrectly. So you still need to have a permit. And if you don't get a permit, then yes, operations like this are very well illegal. But yes, now we have homes that are also being built illegally. But these are not just homes, and I'll get to that later in the video. The 33-year-old construction worker, and I always find that funny how in bizarre, weird, and strange stories like this, there will be some unique numerology, 33, 33rd. But anyway, let's continue. The 33-year-old construction worker was found unresponsive when first responders arrived at 1266 50th Street near 13th Avenue in Borough Park just after noon. The man had been working on the home when the first floor of the dwelling suddenly gave way, pinning him under the debris in the basement, officials said. The fire department of New York Assistant Chief Joseph Ferrante said the floor collapse was in a V shape. The middle of the floor collapsed and came down on top of the victim. Now, we don't know the name of the victim, but of course we know his age because, of course, the numerology, 33. But anyway, we don't know the name of the worker whose identity is being withheld pending family notification, was pronounced deceased at the scene. Now, here's the thing. When this incident occurred, when this illegal home collapsed, people were linking this illegally built home to the tunnels that were being illegally dug under Brooklyn, under New York City. Illegally built home and illegally built tunnels. It's not difficult to see why people would put those two together. So people were talking, they were uploading on Twitter, they were making connections, and due to the people involved, media comes out with lightning speed faster than I've ever seen them upload an article to bash conspiracy theorists to stop people from talking about a certain subject. Rolling Stone, on February 2nd, the same exact day that this building collapsed, released an article stating conspiracy theorists spread fake news story about Chabad tunnel collapsing. The heavily politicized drama over an illegal excavation under a synagogue in Brooklyn has produced even more misinformation. But big media is ready. They are fired up. They are ready to say that anybody talking outside the narrative, even though there's no narrative set yet, there's no confirmation as to what caused this building to collapse or who this illegal building is connected to, but they are ready to say that anybody talking outside of any narrative or anything that connects this building to these tunnels as people who are spreading misinformation. So they are definitely learning from their previous mistake. It took them quite a while to release some fact checkers when it came to the tunnels. Remember that person from USA Today and PolitiFact came out stating, what you saw on camera you did not see. They were going full Men in Black. They said, no, you did not see a mattress come out with a stain on it. No, there was no car seat or anything to connect to children in those tunnels. There was just dirt and tools. That's all you saw was dirt and tools. That person at USA Today was basically saying, those two things, those two round things in your head are not called eyeballs, but liar balls. You're not meant to see, but to see lies out of those liar balls. Don't trust those liar balls spreading misinformation to you. Trust us, we're big media. So you definitely did not see any car seat in those tunnels, and you definitely did not see a mattress with a stain on it coming out of the tunnels as well. Then big media came to fact check and state that there is no such tunnels that are connected to the synagogue, even though they initially said, and on video, that these men were blocking the tunnels that connected to the synagogue. Police had to come and escort them away so they can go ahead and fill up these holes, fill up these tunnels. So because these fact checkers were so on point debunking any misinformation that was targeting these tunnels in New York, they are now being used once again and much earlier when it comes to this collapsing illegal home. Now, the Rolling Stone states the accident led to misinformation accounts and conspiracy theorists on X, formerly Twitter, to falsely claim the incident had taken place in Crown Heights, concocting a wholly fake story about the tunnel beneath the Chabad-Lubavitch World Headquarters in Crown Heights suddenly caving in. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to these tunnels, we really do not know where they lead to, where they connect to, how big they are, how long they are, how old they are, how long these tunnels have been under New York. These could have been something that were built years ago, but they were just expanded upon by the people that are connected to this synagogue. When the story of the tunnels first came out, media stated that these tunnels were being used by those who are connected to the synagogue for easier access to the synagogue during the C-19 lockdown. That was the initial story that was sent out by the media. Then about a day or two later, the media came out saying that no, these tunnels have no connection whatsoever to the synagogue or the C-19 lockdown. What's actually going on here is that there's a rogue group that are connected to these people, but there are a rogue group that are building tunnels to spread their holy message, and these tunnels actually connect to a woman's ritual bathhouse. It's an abandoned house that these tunnels connect to. Has nothing to do with the synagogue whatsoever, even though these members were standing at the entrance of the tunnel inside the synagogue, blocking the tunnel so they were not being filled up, and police were coming in and arresting these men, or so they say. But like I said, remember, big media told us that we can't believe our own eyeballs, so these tunnels were actually connected to a ritual bathhouse that was abandoned. But when we saw that tunnel on video, that tunnel was pretty deep, and towards the end, it looks like there was a second tunnel, but then the video footage cut off abruptly. So again, we just don't know how intricate this tunnel system is or where it actually leads to. So like I said, this Rolling Stone article are calling out a few people on Twitter. More importantly, a Suleiman Ahmed. Suleiman Ahmed stated, breaking 60-foot New York tunnel under Chabad Synagogue are collapsing. They are stating that this Suleiman Ahmed raised his profile by posting misleading material about the conflict in the Middle East. They are also stating that he has defended Andrew Tate. So basically what they're saying is that this Suleiman Ahmed is racist. He's prejudiced against these people. And not only that, he follows somebody that's very controversial, Andrew Tate. So we shouldn't listen to anything he says about this building collapse or these tunnels. Rolling Stone also wants to make it clear when it comes to his tweet that the video shown in the tweet is from Borough Park, the collapse site in Borough Park, and not Crown Heights, which is some 4 miles away. But in the grand scheme of things, 4 miles away really isn't a big difference, given the fact, like I said, we don't know where these tunnels lead to or what area these tunnels are under. We could probably have tunnels connected to tunnels, connected to tunnels, connected to tunnels, tunnels in Washington, D.C., tunnels in Hawaii, all connecting back to tunnels in New York. There could be tunnels literally everywhere. Rolling Stone is also calling out others on Twitter, even those who are asking, is it possible that there are tunnels under other synagogues? So they're pretty much calling people out for connecting a certain group of people not only to the tunnels, but to the building that collapsed in Borough Park. But here's the thing. Here is the very interesting thing. Remember when I said these illegal homes might not be so much of a home? Well, workers at the site at Borough Park where this collapse happened had stated to news agencies that they had been hired to construct a front-framing synagogue. That's right. This is not people from Twitter. This is not people from YouTube. This is not people from X. This is not people from any form of social media that are quote unquote conspiracy theorists. This is coming from the actual workers at the site. They are saying they were hired to construct a synagogue. Now, what I'm wondering is if these workers are migrants, because you have to remember that when it comes to the tunnel story, those involved with the tunnels were saying that they hired migrants to work on the tunnels, that the migrants were actually sleeping and living inside the abandoned ritual bathhouse. This is why you saw the mattresses. This is why you saw the car seats, because those migrants were also bringing their families along as well to stay there. That was their own words. So they keep hiring these migrants to work on not only these tunnels, but also illegal homes as well. They're building these illegal homes, these illegal synagogues on top of tunnels that do not have a proper foundation, and they're collapsing. Boom goes the dinos. I mean, literally. Meteorite, dinosaurs, boom. It does not take a genius, a rocket scientist, a scientist to figure out what's happening here. The construction, however, was being carried out in violation of a stop work order that was slapped on the site on January 4th following an earlier complaint. Department of Buildings Commissioner James Odo said, "They should not have been doing this work, let alone having a bobcat inside this structure," Odo told reporters at the site of the collapse. "There could be multiple fines at this location, so the amount may end up in six figures." Now, Ferrante states that we're not sure what caused it. There was construction materials on the floor at the time of the collapse. Whether it caused it or not, I don't know. Now, I do want to make it absolutely clear that me saying there are tunnels under this illegal home, that is me just speculating. But you do have to understand, if the foundation is not proper, if the foundation is not solid under this home, and as you're building on it, this home will definitely collapse. But yes, it can also collapse because inexperienced workers are also working on the home as well. But here's the thing, there was a very important article released on January 11th. Illegal tunnel under New York City synagogue destabilized nearby buildings, officials said. The findings came after a 2-day inspection into the structural stability of the complex. Levi Hubner, an attorney for the 5 men arrested, the 5 men that were blocking the entrance to the tunnels inside the synagogue, said his clients may have suffered from a little naivete, but had no intention of harming the building structurally. He is 100% confident they wouldn't go near anything, do anything to disrupt the foundation of the synagogue in any way whatsoever. But they're not accounting for other buildings in the area. Listen to this. City inspectors said the excavation had undermined the stability of 2 single-story structures behind the synagogue, an adjacent 2-story brick building containing offices and lecture halls used by the Chabad was also ordered vacated due to the illegal removal of fire-rated walls in the building's cellar. So even though other buildings, older buildings, may not have collapsed because over time they're a little bit more stabilized than a newer building is definitely at risk if the ground is not secure, if there really isn't a proper foundation due to being under a tunnel. So even though we're just speculating, like I said, it's very, very easy to put 2 and 2 together. Now, yes, media is stating that the tunnels are 4 miles away from this location, but if I were a betting man, if I were a gambling man, I would definitely put all my money on the fact there are other tunnels in this location. I am so confident in that statement, I would take out a second mortgage on my home. I would gamble away all my life savings to stand behind that statement. So then that begs the question, what exactly was this illegal home being built for? What are these tunnels being built for? That's going to require me to make a part 2, a second video, because I feel like I've already speculated enough in this one video that I have to make a second. So please do hit that like button, please do subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss that second video. In any case, I do want to hear from you. You're always free to make a comment, and so please do comment in the comment box below. What do you think this home is being built for? What do you think these tunnels are being built for? Again, please do comment in the comment section below. In any case, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.